Imagine a war that starts and ends 38 minutes later. No months, no weeks, not even a full hour. 38 minutes. On one side, the British Empire at the absolute peak of its power. On the other, a sultan on a tiny island who genuinely believed he could win. This is not a legend. This is not folklore. This happened August 27th, 1896. And what unfolded that morning became the shortest war in the recorded history of the world. But here's what most people miss. This isn't just a speed record. This is the story of one man, Sultan Khalid bin Bargash, who made a power grab in the middle of the night, who seized a palace, who assembled 2,800 men into something he called an army, many of whom had only been summoned that same morning, and who genuinely believed the British would back down. He was wrong. Let's set the scene. Zanzibar, 1896, a small but strategically vital island off the East African coast, today part of Tanzania. It was a major hub for spice trade, ocean routes, and for decades, one of the most brutal centers of the slave trade in the world. The British Empire had a system here, locally appointed puppet sultans who stayed in power for exactly as long as they followed British orders. It worked, until it didn't. On August 25, 1896, Sultan Hamad bin Thuwaini died suddenly. And to this day, historians still debate whether that death was entirely natural, because within hours, Khalid bin Bargash saw his opening. He walked into the palace, declared himself the new Sultan of Zanzibar. No British approval, no formal process, no permission asked. British resident Basil Cave sent one message back: "Step down, now." Khalid's response? He dragged cannons onto the roof of the palace, armed his men, positioned his one old battered gunboat, the HHS Glasgow, in the harbor, and sent back his answer: "We have no intention of surrendering." This is 1896. The British Empire controls a quarter of the entire planet. Their warships are already sitting in Zanzibar's harbor. 2 more are on the way. On the night of August 26th, the British issued a formal ultimatum: clear the palace by 9 a.m. tomorrow or face the consequences. Khalid didn't move. That night, 2,800 men waited inside the palace walls. Some were soldiers, most were not. A few probably never held a rifle before yesterday. And somewhere in that palace, a sultan sat, convinced that if he held his ground, the most powerful empire on earth would blink first. He had completely misread the situation. August 27th, 1896, 9 a.m. The clock hits the hour. The harbor goes silent. 9:02 a.m., British warships open fire. The HHS Glasgow was destroyed in under 2 minutes. It sank right there in the harbor, the Zanzibar flag slipping beneath the surface. The palace walls took direct hits. The cannons so proudly mounted on the roof were blown apart. The building began to collapse. Khalid's 2,800 men scattered. You genuinely cannot blame them. 9:40 a.m. The guns went silent. 38 minutes. Done. But here's what doesn't make it into most textbooks. Where did Khalid go? He ran out the back of the palace, through the streets of Zanzibar, and walked straight into the German consulate, because the German consulate sat on British territory, meaning British forces could not legally touch him there. A sultan who just lost a war in 38 minutes was now sheltering behind diplomatic immunity. He stayed there for years. The Germans eventually transferred him to German East Africa, modern-day mainland Tanzania. He never returned to Zanzibar. As for the casualties from this 38-minute war, 500 dead or wounded, all on Khalid's side. British casualties? 0. The Anglo-Zanzibar War gets remembered for its speed, but it deserves to be remembered for something bigger.
It's the story of a man who confused the appearance of power with actual power, who believed because he sat in a palace, because he had guns on the roof, because he had thousands of men surrounding him, that he was untouchable. History is full of those moments, and they almost always end the same way. 38 minutes. One sultanate, gone. If this one hit different, like the video and drop 38 minutes in the comments. I want to see how many of you actually made it to the end. And if you want more stories that sound too wild to be real but are, subscribe. This is just the beginning.